Welcome to the 3intheKey podcast for today, August 2nd, 2020. I am Coconut Joe. Today we're going to talk about the remaining games today. I know it's a little bit late for the Sunday. A couple of games have started. But we're going to talk about the remaining games for today. And for all you sports gamblers out there, we're going to talk about which game I think has the best bet opportunities. So if we look at the schedule today, we got, sorry, I got the Boston-Portland game here on in the background. Let me just turn this down. So if we look at the games we got today, we got Boston and Portland. It's already underway. So I'm not really going to talk about that one. Safe to say, I think Boston's going to win this game, even though everyone's really excited about what Portland did against Memphis and those big clutch shots from Melo. I think Boston's just much more mature team than Memphis was, and Portland still has the same problems. Portland still can't defend, especially the three ball, and Boston, they can shoot the three ball. You know, so that's going to come back and get them. And they're willing to defend. So I don't think Portland's size is really going to affect them too much. So it's really going to come down to the perimeter scorers. And I think just the way Portland defends and CJ being a bit small, I think Tatum, Kemba, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, all these guys are going to have really good nights, and I think it'll be a pretty comfortable Boston win. But we'll leave that game. That game's already in progress. But the game I really wanted to talk to you about today, and it's actually starting just now, is Memphis and San Antonio. So this is, again, a game with 8-seed playoff implications. Memphis trying to hang on to that 8 seed, having lost their first game against Portland. And then what do you got? You got San Antonio fighting to get into that play-in tournament. And I know everyone's down on San Antonio this year. Skip Bayless abandoned ship. After how many, God knows how many years, he abandoned ship, and he is not a DeMar DeRozan fan. Well, it doesn't matter if Skip is or Skip isn't, because DeMar DeRozan is still a heck of a player. Now I am from Toronto, the Toronto area, so I might have a bit of a soft spot for DeMar. But even if you look at his stats, this is the most efficient he's ever been. He's shooting 50% this year, and he's giving you 5 assists, and he's creating a lot of opportunities for the shooters on the Spurs, even though they don't have too many shooters. But they're getting better. So pre-game, San Antonio was a plus 165 on the money line to win the game. So for all you new to the sports gambling world, that means if you put $1 on San Antonio to win the game before the game started, and San Antonio wins, it will return you $1.65 on top of the dollar you wagered. So that's pretty good for two teams that are pretty even. They played 3 times in the regular season. Memphis won twice. San Antonio won once in December. And LaMarcus Aldridge played in all those games, and he's not in the lineup. As we all know, he's not going to be in the lineup for this game. But it could be a blessing in disguise for the Spurs, because they already talked about it in the first game. Pop's going to use that as an opportunity to play faster, which I think will benefit DeJounte Murray, Bryn Forbes, Derek White, and all the young guys. And that's going to, they're trying to generate a bit more turnovers, because they were towards, even though they're one of the best at taking care of the ball, they're also towards the bottom in generating turnovers. So I think that'll help. So why do I think they're going to beat Memphis tonight? So the main reason I think they've got the edge over Memphis tonight is mainly the fouling. Memphis, they're a young team, and typical of young teams, they foul a lot. And San Antonio, they got players, Rudy Gay, DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray. These guys get to the line anyways. I think that just gets amplified against a team that fouls a lot. And also, if you go back and look at their 3 games in the regular season, you're gonna see that Spurs, for a team that doesn't shoot the three ball particularly well, shot the lights out against Memphis. And you say, oh well, it's just one game, maybe they got hot, but Memphis is not a particularly good three-point defense. They do give up a lot of good looks, so I think that's gonna, again, that's another thing that plays to San Antonio's advantage. If Derek White and Bryn Forbes, these guys get going, it's gonna be a tough night in Memphis. And then also, if you look at Memphis, their big thing this year is they score their points in the paint and they protect their points in the paint. They're one of the top defenses in protecting points in the paint. That's usually a good thing, but San Antonio, it's not their bread and butter getting to the paint. Their bread and butter is the mid-range, much to the chagrin of all the analytics guys out there. DeMar DeRozan and now DeJounte Murray, they take a lot of mid-range jumpers. And that's really the soft spot in the Memphis defense, along with the three-point line. So you combine poor three-point defense and poor mid-range defense against a team that loves to shoot the mid-range. It's going to be a tough night in Memphis, and I think that's a great pick for those of you who want to dabble a little bit. There's a few other games tonight going on, but I think having looked at the whole schedule, I think Memphis and San Antonio, that's I don't have a lock here. That's the lock of the night. That's the lock of the day. But if we're looking for other games to watch tonight, obviously Portland-Boston going on right now is going to be a fun game. Later on tonight, though, we got Bucks in Houston. I mean, that's talk about contrasting styles. You got one huge team that loves to go in the paint against a small team that's, they only shoot threes or layups, and that's it. And Milwaukee is the best points in the paint defense in the league, so it could get ugly in Houston for Houston tonight. PJ Tucker might foul out by halftime. Although I hope not, because I love PJ Tucker. And I'm anxious to see what sneakers he's wearing tonight. So, and then you got Dallas and Phoenix. And that is going to be a very exciting game. Now, I know no one's thinking much about Phoenix. They were 6 games out of the 8th seed. They have the lowest odds of getting into that play-in tournament to even threaten for a playoff spot. But they are fully healthy coming into this bubble. Ayton's back. Rubio's healthy. They got Saric back, they got Kaminsky back, and individually, none of these names move the needle. But Monty Williams is doing a great job coaching them, and he's made some nice tweaks to the lineup coming into the bubble, mainly moving Saric to the bench and putting Cam Johnson in the starting lineup to play with Booker and Rubio. And Cam Johnson, he's a hell of a shooter, and he loves those corner threes. And so that really can open up a lot of things for Phoenix in the starting lineup. The big knock on Phoenix, though, is the bench, right? When Booker sits, when Rubio sits, they have a real hard time creating offense. And I think that's part of why they put Saric in there. He's a good creator, but they need to put some more guys around him. So really, it's going to be Dallas's bench versus Phoenix's bench. And also, how is Ayton going to do against Porzingis and Boban? So Ayton's been great so far to start this bubble. I think the first game he had a nice double-double. But, going up against Kristaps Porzingis and Boban Marjanovic, that's a whole other story. So if he can stay out of foul trouble, I think they'll be in good shape. But there's a high chance, I think, that it's going to be a rough night for Ayton tonight. So Phoenix is the underdog in that game. I wouldn't bet on them to win, but I do think it's going to be a fun and exciting game. So look out for that one. I think that's the last game on tonight. I think that's going to be a good one. So for those of you interested, I will be starting a Patreon page going forward, where I would go through all the games on the schedule for the day, giving my analysis on comparing the betting lines to the games to see which ones, where the good picks are. I'll let you guys know when that comes up. It should be coming up either tomorrow or in the next couple of days.